Guys, this is Mrs. Hernandez. I'm going to show you how to get into your book for this week, and I already have a link for how to get into Get Epic, but I thought I would do this too, so that we can do this and then also preview your book. Okay, so you're going to go to getepic.com. It'll actually be it should be like www.getepic.com, or you can Google Get Epic. Once you're there, you can click Login, Students and Educators, and then you guys are going to go into My Class. Okay, so you're going to do MYT 8034. Now, after you do it once, it will save it, but for right now, this is where we are. Okay, and then you go to find your name. So since Abraham is already here, I'm going to click on Abraham. Oh, and look, Mrs. Hernandez sent you a book. Okay. Well, this is going to be, everybody in this reading group is going to have this book, okay? So you can either click it now and look at it, or you can also go to your mailbox and look. I have assigned many different books to you that you can just read, and also you can also just start with this one right here, okay? So we're going to click on her. Now, this particular book lets it read it to you. I do not want you to have this read to you. Let me say that again. Do not click this button. I don't want it to read to you. Okay? When you're first looking through this book, I want you to try it on your own. All right? And then when you're all done reading it to yourself and you want to go back and check some words, you're welcome to do that. But in the beginning, you need to try it yourself. This is about a famous female explorer named Amelia Earhart. She set some world records at the time for long distance plane travel in a time when most women did not do things like this, and most people did not do as many long distance flights as she did. And so here's our table of contents, and we're going to learn all about these sections here. So most of these sections will be a heading for you, and I'm first going to go through and just kind of talk about the book with you, and then I'm going to stop and let you read it to yourself and show you what's at the end, okay? So let's move on. And when you do this yourself, you can click and there'll be a black arrow here. If you don't see that, you can also just press the arrow keys at the bottom. Here's our heading: Who was Amelia Earhart? And since this is a nonfiction book, we're also going to see besides the table of contents, we're also going to see some words that are important, words to know. They'll be in the glossary too, but they'll show you along the way. Words like pilot. A pilot is a person who flies an airplane. Okay, so Amelia was one of the first women pilots. Another heading next is growing up. And here we have a caption. Remember, captions tell you what's in the picture. This is the house where she was born. Long ago, when she was growing up, people didn't go to the hospital to have babies. They actually usually had them in their house. So she was born July 24th, 1897. Woo, long time ago. All right. So we're talking about like 123 years ago by now. Okay, and she grew up in a town called Atchison. If you didn't know this word, it's not going to tell you the definition, but you can also, when you read it through all together and then go back and check your words with the play here, after you're done reading it the first time, you can check on these words. If you didn't remember what I'm talking about right now. Okay, so she grew up in Atchison, Kansas, and she had a sister named Muriel. Okay. Now, sometimes in nonfiction books, they will write a word kind of differently so to help you understand how to say it. Like this word right here, they kind of break it up in chunks. Play suits. That's how you spell it. This is how you say it. Amelia's mother made them play suits. Okay, a play suit is like something you can play around in so you don't get your regular clothes dirty. In those times, girls mostly wore dresses, but her mommy let her wear like a jumpsuit. And then here we've also got some of her own words. She said, "I believe that women have as much courage as men." All right, so then we're going to talk about what she did growing up. Here's another caption. She was in a nurse's uniform. She worked as a nurse, and then she developed a love for flying. So here we're going to find out, when she first started flying and how that happened, who her first teacher was, Netta Snook. And then this is just talking about things that were popular when she was when she was growing up and when she was a young woman in her time. In someone's time means the time that they were young or growing up, okay? It says many things were different in the late 1920s and 30s. It talked about, these are we call maybe a subheading. So they have different sections of things that they talked about. What was different when people were young, when she was young? Jobs, money, the radio, fun, cars, and women, what happened with what people expected of women of those days. Okay, setting records is the next heading. And she wanted to be the first woman pilot to cross the Atlantic Ocean. That's the ocean that's right next to Georgia. And it was very dangerous, okay, because it's very large. You have to have enough gas, you have to know where to land, and she eventually made it. So then the next section, our next heading is becoming famous. And she became famous or well known because not many women had done what she had done, or no women had done what she did in some cases. And here's another special word, careers. Not many women had careers in the 1930s. A career is like your job. A lot of women stayed at home and took care of the kids, and they didn't work outside the home. And this is where the special word is also talked about under words to know, career, a person's life work. This talks about some other things that she did and how she became friends with the president's wife, with Eleanor Roosevelt. And that was Franklin Roosevelt's wife during this time period. And one of our last sections is an American hero. So she was considered to be a very special person. She got awards and medals. She spoke to college students about aviation. And here, this is how it's spelled. This is how you can say it. Aviation. It's capital here to show you that's where you put the stress. Aviation. All right. And this is Amelia at Purdue University, where she gave some guest lectures and talked to people. She was the first woman to get this medal, which is the U.S. Distinguished Flying Cross. And this is her testing a parachute. You guys have probably seen parachutes before. Okay, this has 6 fun facts about Amelia, and you can go ahead and take time to read that. It's kind of a fun thing that this particular nonfiction text does. And then it talks about how she wanted to go around the globe. The globe is another word for the earth. She wanted to fly all the way around the world. And that was something that would be very, very difficult to do. And she decided to take this trip with a man called Fred Noonan. He was call her navigator. This is how you say it, navigator. A navigator gives directions, and it tells you down here, a person who uses maps to help find the way. So she would be flying the plane. He would be telling her where to go. And then, unfortunately, Amelia didn't quite make it on her last flight. They decided to go over the Pacific Ocean, which is right next to where California is, and they didn't quite make it. But it's interesting here. Look, the name of her airplane was a Lockheed Electra 10E airplane. It's the same model that she used. So Lockheed Martin, the engineering company, made this type of airplane back then. Down here is something really neat that a lot of nonfiction books have. I'm glad this book has it. And that is a timeline. I'm starting right here from 1897 when she's born, and it tells some important things that happened in her life. Not everything, but important things that happened. And it goes on because this goes until the end of where they stopped hearing from her. She had started right here in California, and then she went down this direction, and then this is like kind of cut, but it's round because Earth is round. So she came back around here, across Africa, over Pakistan, and down Asia and Australia, and she was so close. Right here is where they lost contact with her. She only had to go from here to here. But there were some things that happened, and it's pretty sad. But they never found out really what happened to her, but they assumed that she died. So in 2012, in fact, a new search began for her plane. Okay, so these are showing some close-up things from her time. You can look at that and also take a look at the word bank that goes with it: stamp, map, medal, airplane, goggles, and helmet. And here's some of the important words that are in a picture glossary. When you're all done, you're going to do this. I'm not going to click on it now because if I do, then you'll see everything. And I want you to do it on your own. You're going to start the quiz. You're going to take the quiz. When you're done, I'll get to see what answers you chose. And if you're finished with all that, you can look for some of these other books. There's some fantastic books in here. Or you can go back to your mailbox and go look to see what other books are in here. Okay, well, I hope you enjoy learning about Amelia Earhart, because she's a fascinating woman, an interesting life, kind of sad at the end, but very, very interesting. If you have any problems while you're trying to read this book, please let me know, and I'll be happy to help you.